Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Yes, as the title says, I'm going to be going over some archer pairings and what I think is the personally best pairing right now, which is KINNARA and Syndrion. So we're going to have a deep dive into that pairing and talk about Season 1 Plus archers for all of you players currently looking at playing archers in Season 1 and into the future. Hello everyone, smash a like, comment and subscribe to the channel like always if you are looking for Call of Dragons content. So we are going to go over today archers, as you can imagine. So with archers there's a lot to kind of unpack, because right now if we do just kind of go into the inventory area just for a quick brief moment and we look at the generational 2 tokens here, we already have basically the foundation of the archers, right? So we have the ability to have Nico or KINNARA, and then in Generation 2, you're going to be able to get either Ffraegar or Syndrion. So you've got 4 legendary heroes there to pick and choose from, obviously, for your archer marches. Some players might only want to rock 1 archer march, and that's why we're going to go over 1 first, and then I'm going to just break down some other choices that you can do, right, when you have more archers at your disposal. So the reason why I am going to make this video is, as you can see, I am still stacking all of my generational 2 tokens because there's 2 new cavalry heroes coming out. So you've got to think, are you going to save your investments now and you know, potentially invest into cavalry, or are you actually just going to play archers, right? It's one of those decisions that every player has to make on their own choice, right? It's your account at the end of the day, and we do try and suggest, you know, to try and just do what you think is best. Obviously, take information from myself, other YouTube content creators, to get a more rounded opinion on what you believe is the best thing to do, and then go forward, right? So archers, right? If we want to as well, if you're thinking about playing archers, what race to play, honestly, I'm just going to suggest playing either Spring Wardens or the League of Order. Honestly, both of those are really good, and the reason why is a lot of free-to-play players kind of get the benefit of the normal attack damage increase with the ballistas in the League of Order, because you can generally pick that for Wild Deer, right, and you get the mage comp. But if you've picked Spring Wardens like I have, and you've got the normal archers, these guys boost its own physical attack. So technically you're getting a more big stat buff, which can amplify your skill damage and other stats, right? So it's a really powerful race to go. You could also, if you wanted to try Wilderberg, but I will tell you, the flying unit, the Wyvern Riders, isn't a unit of choice for my eyes. It's just currently too weak as a unit. It doesn't do enough damage, it just dies too quickly, it's really slow. So it's just one of those units that isn't great at the moment. So maybe in the future it might get a buff, so that just gives you maybe an idea on what factions you want to pick on that note. And let's go into the heroes now, right? So we're going to be talking about, like I say, the KINNARA and Syndrion. So KINNARA is a fantastic hero. You're going to get access to her in your Season 1. And then obviously Syndrion, you're going to get access in Season 2. There's going to be 3 ways you're going to be able to get him. And I unlocked him the 3rd way, right? So you can see, if you are going to be able to, you can get him in multiple varieties. The first way is when you first go into the season. Every season so far, when you've gone into a brand new season, there is a Wheel of Destiny. Yes, the Wheel of Destiny. And in this Wheel of Destiny, you get Syndrion and Ffraegar with potentially Bakshi and Garwood, like I did during my video. I'll try and pin something in above again so you guys can kind of watch that. So if you're wondering what I'm talking about, there's a video to check out. But in the next season, there's going to be another Wheel of Destiny, and that will be, again, for the cavalry heroes. So that's going to be your first way of getting Syndrion. You can get the Wheel of Destiny, spin it, and hopefully, by luck, get him unlocked. The second way you can unlock Syndrion, and the main way you can unlock him, is actually through the Strongest Lord event. So through the Season 1 Plus that you go into, you will go into the, I think, first 3 strongest lords are all Syndrion, and then I believe it just goes into Garwood or Fear. I've just forgotten because it's been so long for us guys in server 2. But you get him through strongest lords, so competing and getting in those top 10 and 15 spots is going to unlock you the hero that you're going to want. If you maybe go in for the 5 and then 5 again, you could do that as well. That's across 2 strongest lords, so it's up to you as a free-to-play player and how much you might have saved as your speed ups and resource to go hard and try and unlock him, right? But the third way you can unlock him is through daily deals, and we can actually just showcase that still today because he's still here. So he will appear in your daily deals, and this generally comes towards the near end of your season. So obviously those players that got him before you obviously had the advantage for unlocking him, right? So you're going to be able to unlock him later, but then obviously catch up to those players. So that is the reasoning why he's later. It's the same reason why all of the daily deal heroes work the way they do, right? You're going to get access to certain free, and over time you get access to more and more heroes. So just remember, you can get him through the daily deals, right? There's another access point. So once you've unlocked him though, is he worth spending into, and why is this combo so strong, right? Because Syndrion is really hard to obtain compared to KINNARA. Everyone knows in KINNARA you just need to do the lucky wheel spin and you've unlocked this hero, right? It's really simple, right? And it's really quick as well. You get 3 chances and you can just roll the free ones, hopefully, and hit it. Or if you saved your gem from the behemoths, hit the 10 and then the 10 next week and you will definitely unlock her, right? So it's a really easy way of getting her for a free-to-play player with gems that you've got from rewards. But why is this combo, in my eyes, the best combo? And why do I think this is better than running something like Syndrion and Ffraegar, which is a lot of people's, you know, it's a lot of their favourite matches, and I do really like this match too, and we'll talk about it afterwards. But the reason why I like KINNARA and Syndrion is quite easily, I think KINNARA is one of the best heroes in the game. I think she's one of the top 3 heroes that you can pick easily to invest into, and she is a lucky wheel commander, meaning any sculptures you actually pump into her is worth it. Comparing this to another commander like Nico, yes, he's a fantastic hero, guys, but you will be able to get him through the gold keys, right? So through the gold keys, you're going to be able to unlock him through gold chests, and you're going to expertise him. So I would not worry about too hard investing into this guy. You're going to get him over time. But KINNARA, on the other hand, she has all 4 skills, when we look at KINNARA, that are all relevant to PvP, and that is the biggest thing about her, how versatile and strong she is in PvP. And when you awaken her, guess what? She gets even stronger. So when we just break her down, and you know there is a full hero guide, I will link that up again up above us, but your skill 1 does a nice single target damage nuke, but the most important factor is the 15% all damage dealt decrease that you put onto that target. If they're a T5 player and they're against another T5 player, and you're just, you know, they're not running KINNARA and they might be running Nico, this match will 100% win. You're just reducing the amount of raw damage that whole match in his skill damage, normal attacks, crit damage, counter attacks, you name it. It's all 15% reduced, and that is so huge in PvP. But then when we look at our other 3 passives, this is what's really good, right? You get a nice hero skill taking a reduction of 10%, which is great because that means you're tankier again against those players that already reduced their damage dealt by 15%. And on top of this now, you take 10% reduced hero skill damage. So this is why she's very, very tanky already in her build. And then you get some normal attack damage, which is great for all archers. We get a massive 30% steroid here on the attack. And then finally, the coolest part about this is when you're in combat, you're going to get that physical counter attack damage dealt bonus against the target that you're fighting as well, meaning going all up to 30%, meaning when you're getting attacked by multiple fronts, guess what? These guys are all taking more and more damage as well as the main target. And when you go into the talent pages for KINNARA, that's what makes it even more deadlier and tankier in PvP. So this is why I really like her. And when you look at Syndrion, Syndrion's the opposite word of the spectrum, as you guys know. Syndrion is all about raw damage, single target damage, as much damage as he can honestly pump out. And on top of it, he only gives, which is nice though, a 15% HP bonus, which is really good with the KINNARA stats already. And the thing is with Syndrion, when I look at Syndrion all the time, I always look at him as a Khan from Rise of Kingdoms. And I used to be a massive cavalry player, and the reason why I look at him the same is because Khan and him kind of fulfill this same role of single target heavy damage, right? And if they're able to just smash all of that single target damage out, guess what? They're gonna be able to wreak havoc. And that's why you saw back in Rise of Kingdoms, the main culprit was a Saladin Khan, which obviously can be used with Saladin YSG, but Saladin Khan, when they were both expertise, was an absolute devastating match. And this is why I believe this is going to be the same thing. And we've got some test results I'm going to be able to check out in the chat logs, just to show you guys some cool reports about it. But I want to just justify why I think this is the best match. I think it's the best match because basically you have the best of both worlds. You have a very versatile tanky commander that has behind her and hiding one of the strongest, if not the strongest, single target DPS match in the entire game. And it's going to allow the Syndrion to fire off this skill, allowing you as the KINNARA to keep firing off your skill even quicker because of the amount of attacks that you're pumping out. So I really do love this build. Now when we go into talents, this is the talent page I would honestly run when you are going for it. So you are going down this control tree later on. You want to get this as a secondary choice, or if you really wanted to and you really wanted the rage generation as early as possible, you can start down this tree. And the reason why you go down this tree is pretty simple. We're getting the marksman march speed, which we need because we are very slow. Then on top of this, we get a massive amount of counter attack damage, which we love on KINNARA with the rage generation and soul siphon, which we will get counter hit and targeted. So this is a very good keystone for our march. We're going to be able to steal rage and generate even quicker on our skills. Then finally, just put the 1 point in blindside just so it allows backstabber for that KINNARA to work. It gives you just a 2% damage increase, which is beautiful compared to any of the other two options that you have. But then we go into the top section. This is where you can see where I've already started, and I'm going to finish off where you can imagine where we've gone through this, all these builds again on my KINNARA build page and on the Discord if you're looking for it. But we go down the PvP tree, we get in a bunch of stats here, and we are going to go up basically into the top section. Why we're going to go into the top section is pretty simple. Once you've got up here, you're going to be grabbing strength to strength and the rest and response. Basically every time you're killing someone, you're going to be healing a nice little bit for the sustained combat, what you want in PvP, because you've got to imagine all the stamina you don't want to use, you can prevent by just healing a nice little amount through this talent. And then on top of this, you get a massive HP buff. So in total, you get a 25% HP buff during that rage skill cycle, which is very good because again, you got to think you're already getting 15% from Syndrion. So I really do like this build. You know, it's one of the big builds I run on KINNARA, where it's a PvP max and then going into the control secondary. There's loads of different takes on it, but I think that is always going to be the best tree to run on her, especially with Syndrion. So I'm going to mention some quick other pairings before we end the video so it doesn't go on too long. But with KINNARA and Syndrion, what it allows you to do as well, it allows you to spread out your heroes in the next season. And that is a beautiful thing for players, because it means now if you're looking for direction, you can run something like Nico and Ffraegar. Very powerful combo. It does exactly what you expect it to do. It will shred their opponent's physical defense, and the next minute Ffraegar just makes you hit like an absolute truck. So it's a really good combo that you can do, and again, it spreads out the legendary heroes, and then it allows you to even go with like a Craig and Gwanwyn if you really wanted to still use this, or later down the line you could even run like Thea with the Craig for a dedicated like flying march, or run this with archers too. It will still work perfectly fine. So it's really cool that in Season 1 Plus, with this, it allows you to run 3 already separate marches that are all archer based. So if you're looking for 4th and 5th marches, guess what? You potentially could be doing that with heroes, like I said, with Fear and Hosk and Gwanwyn, that are basically combined universal heroes that can just basically fulfill maybe a support slot for those archers, right? So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's all about basically the KINNARA and Syndrion and why I think it is the best march in the game. And now what we're going to do is just quickly jump over to another screen before we finish up and show some reports on this march. And welcome back. So here we've got Duz, and he did some amazing testing, and I believe this was a video on Hooked Gaming's channel, so you can go and check that video out as well. But what we're looking forward to is just these 2 reports. It's just showcasing this march. So you can see how Duz versus Hulkdon is. This is a Syndrion KINNARA versus Syndrion KINNARA, right? They're running 238k, 238k, but you can see they're severely wounded compared to Hulks, right? And there's a big difference. And when we go into the Legion battle buffs here and look, you can see the physical defense, magic, and HP is higher for Duz, sacrificing only about 4.5% attack compared to him. The big one though, as you can imagine, is having this KINNARA maxed on the stars, because you can see here the 23% damage dealt bonus, and he even has an extra 4% normal attack damage dealt. So everything else is pretty close. You can see within 5%, 2%, 2%. So the buffs are really close here, but sacrificing 4%. And you can see why just having an extra 2 or 4% over your opponent can potentially win you the fight. So we've got here a 555 Syndrion, 555 KINNARA, again 555 KINNARA and a 555 Syndrion. Both of them rocking a, looks like a level 6, which it is, level 60 and 60 Shadow Blades. So this is quite as close as you can be. But when we look at the report again, the victory is so almost, I wouldn't say one-sided, but over 11,000 difference, right? And that's just showcasing the power of having extra defense and health over attack in your march. So I think this is a really good showcase of this, and this is obviously him running Syndrion as the primary, I believe, with KINNARA. So I wonder what tree he run for this obviously march, but it was very interesting for me to see. You can see this was only, it goes 20 seconds plus another 28, so it was a 48-second battle. That's how quick it was. It wasn't slow by any means, right? So it was a really scary march. So I really do like this. We do have a second report just to showcase on it. It's going to be very similar again. So if we look on here again, you can see the same, just the same report, right? So when we go to Legion buffs, it'll be again everything same. I don't know if he's changed any talents during this, but they'd ran it twice, so you could see back to back the results for him. So thank you for that test. So it allowed me to make obviously today's video. So you can see there, hopefully, the justification as well on battle reports, why this is potentially and why I believe this is the #1 pick at the moment for PvP if you are playing archers, right? So I hope you've learnt that today. We're just going to go over a quick little thing which I did say we're going to go over, which is Syndrion and Ffraegar, because obviously Syndrion Ffraegar is the thing that a lot of players like to run. And the reason why people like to run this, as you can imagine, it is honestly a glass cannon of a build. It basically is all about damage. How much damage can it pump out as fast as possible, with the ability as well, you got to remember, to reduce the rage accumulation speed of your opponent. So it is very DPS heavy. It does do so much damage, but the problem with this, which we have witnessed numerous times now on the War Room series, if you've not checked it out, is that when a Syndrion Ffraegar immediately gets times by 2-3 marches targeting it, it gets melted. It just dies too quickly. And in my eyes, you don't want a march that dies too quickly. So the beautiful thing about Syndrion Ffraegar though is if you do have this to your disposal and you want to use it, you can use it in raids. I'm not gonna lie, this is the #1 raid DPS machine in the game. No one will DPS beat you if you have this. The only people that will beat you is other players with this match, or generally obviously like a T5 player you can imagine. But if everyone's playing on the exact same field, if everyone had the same buffs, if you imagine, but you ran Syndrion Ffraegar and they didn't, you will win in the DPS meter. So I'm just saying that it's a very powerful match, so don't disregard it in all means. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video though. It is all about Season 1 Plus, the Syndrion and KINNARA Syndrion formation, which I honestly love and I think is the #1 match in the entire game currently for PvP. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I'd love to hear your response. Obviously this is on archers mainly, so I'd love to hear your archer response. Maybe you've got a better archer pairing that you believe might be stronger in PvP for different reasons. Let me know. We are here to talk and discuss things. So with all that said, smash a like, comment and subscribe if you've enjoyed today's video. With all that, stay safe, stay sneaky guys, and peace out till the next video.